Greetings and welcome to Monster Legends, and a special feeding episode. This time we're going to be feeding a fella that I picked up when my team got 12 laps in the recent race. This is Fatid, and Fatid has lots of open ruin slots. He's got a big smile, and we can't wait to feed him up. Given his girth already, I'm sure he's looking forward to it as well. So let's find a spot for him. Oh, he's got a habitat all by himself. For now. Okay, so it looked like he was taking off on us there for a bit, but he came back. And you will notice that he has a star, which means he can rise to 105. Alright, there he is. Oh, he's a cute little fella. Yeah, nah, not really. I'm just being nice about it. And I haven't thought about a name yet, but that is definitely not the one that I'm going with. No, it is not. Okay, maybe he doesn't like that. Anyway, this is Putrid. He is a legendary. He is nature. He is apparently... Ooh, he has some good hardening there. 35% chance to resist those nasty little effects. First thing that jumps out at me at the stats. Look at that life. Wow. Okay, well, the power is pretty darn good, too, so he's going to do some damage. But that life, wow, that's amazing. That's amazing. And his stamina is 140, so these are his actual stats. These are his actual stats. Speed is a little on the slow side, but, you know, looking at him, you can probably understand why. So, you know, speed is not what he does, right? So anyway, let's take a look at his skills, his starting skills. Fat and Fetid. Okay, low physical damage to one enemy. And Lord of Disease. Deals moderate nature damage to one enemy. All right, and that skill that we saw. Pestilence Curse. Deals moderate nature damage to all enemies, applies poison to all enemies, applies delayed kill to all enemies, heals itself. Alright, so I'm guessing, yeah, that's basically just Reaper. They're calling it delayed kill, but you know, it's the same thing. You get it on you, you die in 3 turns unless you remove it or unless one of your own guys removes it, right? That's kind of useful, very useful indeed, alright? Once upon a time, there was a little Shilak who lived in a swamp. One day, Dr. Hazard started using that swamp as a dumping site and contaminated it. After years of eating rotten garbage and being in contact with contamination, that little Shilak turned into this pestilent beast, Fatid. Okay, so it's Dr. Hazard is once again the villain. Maybe he'll take his revenge. Maybe he sees him as his mother. We'll have to find out the first time that they meet. But first, his favorite thing is coming. It's feeding time. All right, so let's go. Let's get him up to level 4. Okay. Okay, he's definitely eaten a lot of that rotten garbage. Yes, he has. Okay, and a lot of that contamination as well. Okay, you're coming back, right? Because that's okay. Good, he came back. That's wonderful. All right, so let's start with the skills because that's why we're all here, right? So let's get to level 7. Traitor Eater. Removes positive stats effects and 100% of total life from one ally. Gives 100% of stamina and extra turn to itself. Okay, so in other words, it will kill one of its own teammates for a complete heal. No, oh, stamina. No, oh, it doesn't even heal. Interesting. So in other words, it will kill one of its allies, and it gives 100% of stamina. So in other words, he basically kills one of his own guys for a stamina fill. That's, even if a total heal came in there too, you know, you could think about that, but that's kind of extreme there, dude, just saying. Alright, let's continue to level 10. Fart Machine! You can't make that up. No, you can't. Applies poison to all enemies. Well, that's useful, but... oh, see, 0 cooldown, 0 stamina. He can just do that every round if he wants. Not that it's useful every round, but that's kind of interesting. It's part of who he is, right? Alright, let's get to level 15. And another skill. Decayed limb. Deals moderate nature damage to one enemy. Alright, well that's pretty straightforward there. Just put that there because it's better anyway, right? Nothing fancy about that. Okay, there he is. Alright, so let's get to level 20. And another skill. Rotten Claw. Deals massive nature damage to one enemy. Applies poison and bleeding. Wow, that's a nice one right there. That's an upgrade of that one, and that's where I'm going to put that. I don't know if it's a direct upgrade, but I'm keeping that. Wow, that's a level 20 skill. I'm guessing he got that one really early. But that's a really good one there. Oh yeah, that's a really good one. All right, let's go to 25 in his final form. Putrid organism. Heals itself by 40%, applies poison to all enemies. That's really good. I'm going to throw that on the end, and it wouldn't surprise me if I ended up keeping that, frankly. Yeah, with his health, that's an enormous. Okay, and speaking of enormous, there he is, his final form. Okay, dude, you're drooling. Or is that like, I guess it's slime, actually. Okay, see, Dr. Hazard, you see what you get when you dump? This thing's gonna show up on your door and say, Daddy. Ugh, horrifying thought. Alright, let's continue. Because I want more horrifying thoughts in the form of skills. Vein Worms. Resurrects one ally with 100% life for 2 turns. Applies triple damage to one ally. Alright, so in other words, he resurrects him for 2 turns. And then he dies after the 2 turns. But he has triple damage during that time. So in other words, he can kill him with one skill and then resurrect him with the other one. It's just, I just can't see keeping this one though. I mean, I can understand the situation here. Alright, so let's just say you start the turn, right? He uses this skill, right? Kills one of his allies, gets his stamina back, and then he has the extra turn. He can turn around immediately and then do this skill to resurrect the same ally, and the ally will have triple damage. Now, it's not something you'd want to do in a war. It's something you could easily do in PvP, though. Because, I mean, you'd lose the point if he died within the period of time. But I could definitely see that's an interesting combo for PvP. That's a tricky one. I don't know whether or not I want to keep that now. I mean, you need both for the combo, right? You need both for the combo. Which one would I be more likely to keep? I mean, Vein Worms I'd probably be more likely to keep, but the problem is it's useless unless somebody dies. I mean, if I take Vein Worms and put it there, I'm taking that one away now. But it's just too tempting of a combo to not try, you know? And I got a question, what if you use it on somebody who's immune to Reaper? They probably wouldn't die. The one thing I'm not seeing here is not listing the triple damage. Does the triple damage live for 2 turns? I'm going to take Putrid Organism out for the moment, and I'm going to put this one in. Because, I mean, you got to try that combo, right? I mean, you got to try that combo. Frankly, he's already scaring me now with the skills. I'm going to be, like, racking my head here. All right, let's continue. 35. Decomposing Body. Applies double healing and regeneration to itself. Oh, wow. Just... it really depends on what you want to do. I'm seeing him now being able to heal himself and poison other guys. This one right here is double healing and regeneration and then gets an extra turn. I don't know if I can tie up 2 guys here with this. I mean, this looks really great, but I don't know if I can tie up 2 individuals with this. I'm going to put this here for the moment. I just don't know if I can do that. I guess I need to see what his full skills are going to be. You might have to make a decision between like something like a Reser buffer like he does and also maybe a tank. I don't know. I haven't seen the rest of his skills. I'm only at level 35. I don't even have something for the first spot yet. All right, let's go. Level 40. Infected Breath. Deals moderate nature damage to all enemies, applies poison and bleeding. Well, that's one for the first spot. That's a very good one for the first spot. All right, we're going to throw that there. Now I don't know. I really don't know. Now the first two I think are like no-brainers. Although, do you need the second one if you have the first one? I mean, it is massive damage though. That's the thing. All right, let's continue and see what else comes up, and then we'll make our decisions. Okay, level 45. Putrid. Which do I like better? This one gives an extra turn. But this one poisons everybody. But let's face it, I think everybody's going to be poisoned already. So this one heals himself by 40% and then poisons everyone. This one gives himself double healing and then regeneration. So he's going to heal an enormous amount. Probably in the end more than the 40%. And it gives him the extra turn. So he's going to get some of that healing back immediately and then be able to act. I think of the two of them, I like Decomposing Body better. It's just that I don't know about that combo now anymore. If I get something that is like, he gets to be tank or something like that, Vein Worm's Infestation. Resurrects all allies with 50% for one turn. Applies double damage to all allies. Oh, you're just going to do this to me, are you? I mean, wow, 71 stamina. That's kind of enormous. And they die in one turn. I mean, in this case, I would take Vein Worms because, I mean, look, if somebody could die, no question about that. Someone could just die. There's no question about that. But what is it? This one was only useful if two of them die. And they're only going to last one round. They're only going to last one round, and you're only getting double damage. This way, I get 2 rounds, and they get triple damage. So, I mean, and 100% heal. So, I mean, if I was going to take one of these, it would be Vein Worms. It just seems to be something that would be more useful. The other one's only useful if both of your allies are dead. So, I mean, that's the one that I would take. What are his... Okay, he's got 2-round cooldown, 2-round cooldown, 4-round cooldown. That one there. So, I mean, he could end up having some kind of an issue here. If nobody dies, right? All right, I would take Vein Worms. I would stay with Vein Worms. All right. So I don't know if he's got anything else. I really don't. And I'm not really sure what I'm going to do with him. Okay. No. I prefer Decomposing Body to that one. And level 60. Putrid Organism. Okay, so I'm just going to take a quick look, even though I got a strong belief that we've seen everything. Okay, Vein Worm's Infestation, Putrid Organism. This one, I just don't know about that. I just don't know about that at all. I don't know. That was the one I was thinking about. The one that poisons with a 0 cooldown and a 0 stamina requirement. That's kind of interesting. But let's face it, he does a lot of poisoning. Wow. Okay, so he's got some stuff. Yes, he does. He's got some very interesting stuff here. I don't know about the resurrecting one. I think I would have to sacrifice the healing for that. Sacrificing half his skills for a combo. That's what I'm thinking in terms of sacrificing half his skills for a combo. I just don't know if I should do that. I probably should have done that for testing. I probably should have done that for testing purposes. Even though, let's face it, I know how that's going to come out. All right, let's look at the stats. Wow, that's a lot of life. That's a lot of life. And that's pretty good damage up here. Pretty good power. It's going to get good damage going. Yeah, the speed, we knew he wasn't going to be a speed demon. I'm going to look at him. Look at him. He's not going to be a speed demon. Right. And, yeah, I mean, the thing about it is I'm not going to put speed on him anyway, right? Now, yeah, it's a little early. But, you know, some combination of damage and life, I think, is what you would do with this guy. Because, I mean, he's got such a huge life. And he's supposed to stay alive. That's what he's supposed to do. Because he can resurrect his teammates. And of course, use them for a round or 2 rounds, you know. But, I mean, that's what he's supposed to do. He's supposed to stay alive. I mean, he's got 2 sets of really powerful self-heals, you know. All right, let's take a look at the skills. These are the skills that I chose. Some of these I think are probably no-brainers. This first one is definitely a no-brainer. Definitely a no-brainer. This is Infected Breath. Deals moderate nature damage to all enemies. Applies poison and bleeding to all targets. This is a really good one. This is a good one. These are two good dots, and they are going to do a lot of damage. The attack also, it's high moderate. It's good. He's got a good power, so he's going to do a lot of damage with them. And it's only a 2-round cooldown, which means that if he uses it, the next time he comes around to using it again, they're still going to be poisoned, and the bleeding just ended. So you can keep the other side perpetually bleeding and poisoned. And remember, he's not easy to kill, so it's going to take a while for that to... Then you got this one, Rotten Claw. Deals massive nature damage to one enemy, applies poison and bleeding to one enemy. Now, it does the same things the first one does, but it can be good for reapplying if somebody was hardened. Like he himself is 35% hardened. If somebody is hardened and resists one of them. But it's also a massive nature attack. A massive nature attack. So with his power again, he's going to do a lot of damage with that. Unless, of course, somebody's weak to nature. He doesn't seem to have any attacks that do special damage. Kind of a shame, but I guess you can kind of understand that. I don't think I missed any that did that. His extra stuff is special damage. His extra stuff. And then we have this one, Decomposing Body. Now, there were 2 self-heals. I decided to go with this one because I think in the grand scheme it'll probably end up doing more healing. It also gives him an extra turn, which is really good for dealing with cooldowns because it will give him an extra turn, which is pretty good. All right, so we got Decomposing Body. Applies double healing and regeneration to itself. Gives itself an extra turn. So regeneration is really good, but of course double healing will double the effect of it. With his health, that's going to be a lot of healing. It'll probably end up being more than the 40% in the end. So, I mean, the 40% one gives you all the health immediately. I believe it also poisoned the other team. But let's face it, they're probably poisoned already. I mean, if they're not poisoned, then they're probably immune to it with this guy around, So I don't really see that one as being as big a benefit anymore. But this one in the extra turn is really good, because if he looks like he's running low on health, he can just do this, give himself regeneration, get a tick of that regeneration with the double healing, and then go right back to attacking. And then, of course, the extra turn will reduce the cooldowns of everything by 1. So that could be actually very useful indeed. So if he starts with this one, goes back to this one, and then does this, then this one's going to be available to him again. This one's going to be available, and then he'll probably come back with this one. Unless, of course, someone in the group dies, in which case we're going to use Vein Worms. Resurrects one ally with 100% life for 2 rounds. Applies triple damage to one ally. So, in other words, if an ally dies, he will resurrect that ally with Reaper on it, the cursed countdown, and give that ally triple damage. Oh, it says 1 round. Here you can actually see it's 1 round of triple damage. Here's the thing. If the individual he raises is immune to the Reaper effect, the cursed countdown, chances are there's no downside to this. So, I mean, there are ones who are immune to that effect. If you group him with them and they die, then there's no downside to this, which is pretty nice. Now, there was a group version of this, but I just didn't see it as useful as this one. I just didn't see it as useful as this one because it only gave 50% health. It gave double damage, and they died after 1 round instead of 2 rounds. Now, he did have a skill that would actually kill one of his own team members and give himself an extra turn and also refill his own stamina. So that could be a combo with this. I mean, the thing about it is, do I want to take one of this or this out? There's justification for taking this one out. The thing about it is that I don't know about that. I guess it would really depend on who you were grouped with. If you're grouped with somebody who had serious damage, I don't know. That's a good question. I just can't see locking up 2 skills for a combo. I think this one by itself could be very useful if somebody was to die. If somebody was to die. If you were to put him with Barbados, right? You were to put him with Barbados. Barbados could go a long way towards killing himself, and, with his specific skills. And then if he takes a hit, he's dead. Then you could resurrect Barbados with 100 health and triple damage. So that would be pretty darn devastating. I don't know. I have to think about that. I mean, do I want to dedicate 2 skills to a combo? You know, that kind of a thing? I mean, he himself does a lot of damage. He's tanky, but technically speaking, he's not a tank because he doesn't have taunt. You know, he doesn't have that taunt ability. I was kind of looking for him to have that, but I guess he is he's kind of self stuff there. You know, he's got self-healing, and then basically he raises his team members just to have them die for his own benefit. You know, so he's not exactly a team player, right? He's not exactly a team player. But he is very, very interesting and very good. All right, so I can't wait to start testing with him, and that might be pretty soon. Yeah, that might be pretty soon indeed. So like I said, I would probably go 2 damages and life, because, I mean, he's going to have an enormous life. If you give him a really big life rune, he's going to have an enormous life. There's justification for actually putting 2 life on him and a big old damage. Because the thing about it is he's going to do a lot of damage with his dots instead of just the actual damage hits. You know, you could take this one out and give him the one that kills one of his team members, and you'd probably still be all right. Although the thing about it is he'd only have 1 damaging attack then. It would give him extra turns though. But I mean, the thing about it is you'd be going for a really quick fight. I mean, there's things you can do with this guy. It really depends on how you're going to play him, doesn't it? It really depends on how you're going to play him. But I mean, there is justifications for putting 2 life on him, because he'd have a gargantuan life then. And as long as he's alive, he can keep resurrecting his own guys and then putting them down again. I wonder if you could res the same guy twice. Interesting. It'd be pretty hard to test that. Anyway, thank you very much for your attention. I really appreciate it. And play games, because games are fun. See ya.